Okay, it is time for some Dream Portals. What do we get? Oh. Dreaming and making the world tremble. Sure. I have no idea what Deathwing is saying. Oh, the fate of the world at stake with Kalagos. Beautiful. Something about feeble magic? Sure. And our opponent is going on his demise. Oh, but wait. We're friends now. Hello, friend. Let's add another big dragon to the board. Dragon Queen Alexstrasza, Mirror NC. Very, very cute on his part. But this is quite the board of dragons. He would have to remove the 7/7 and then find a way to go face for 8 with Dragon Queen Alexstrasza and then find even more additional damage. I don't see how that happens. And this is why Ysera Unleashed is my favourite card in Hearthstone and has been since she was released. This has to be my best outcome from Ysera Unleashed in a very, very long time. And this is why I will continue playing Ysera Unleashed in Druid decks. And kind of feeling sorry for my opponent, almost.
One stab, mini kill.
Kartok Defender won't save him. Zephyrus here is the icing on the cake. Okay, so what deck am I playing today? We are taking a detour to standard mode and we're playing KingCarnage's Elise's Fittest Druid. That's the full name of the deck. It is a Highlander deck, which is very greedy, and in many ways it takes some of the best cards that are circulating through Druid decks at the moment, from different decks, mashes them all together, adds greed on top. So let's break it down. You have Ysera Unleashed for her dragons, you have guardian animals and a small selection of beasts, you have Mount Sulla and some cheap spells. You have various ways to control the board. I love the inclusion of Swipe and Starfall in this deck. You have Kael'thas, post-nerf, so now the third spell you cast costs 1 rather than 0. Still pretty effective in this deck if you are going to combo, I guess, Kael'thas, cheap spells, and then Survival of the Fittest. You have Forest Warden Omu in this deck, which allows you to refresh mana crystals. And finally, the ultimate greed card, Elise the Enlightened, which will allow you to duplicate cards in your hand. The deck is greedy enough that I've not had an opportunity to play Elise yet. I've not needed to play Elise. In the games that I've won, the other cards in this deck have just been enough on their own, have provided enough power to kill my opponent. Elise the Enlightened has not been needed. I'm looking for an opportunity to play Elise the Enlightened. Just need to find a game that goes on for an incredibly lengthy period of time where playing Elise just gives me the extra value that I need to win. Unfortunately, I've not had any games that have gone on for long enough where Elise gets me value that I need. So hopefully one day it'll happen. Let's have a look at the deck in action now on the standard mode ladder. Oh, scrap that. Let's have a look at this deck in action on the wild mode ladder. This is what happens when you don't pay attention to what you're doing and you press the wrong buttons. I queued this into a wild mode game and I was feeling incredibly nervous because my opponent is a priest. Okay. Seeing Breath of Dreams in hand with a dragon is a very nice bonus. But yes, the end of the August season, wild mode ladder with a standard deck. So, if you're the priest,
Hello, dear.
what are you thinking? What is he expecting? Is he expecting a Jade Druid? Is he expecting a Malygos Druid? An Aggro Druid? Is he expecting a Guardian Animals Druid? He's seen Breath of Dreams. He knows I have a dragon in hand because he got the ramp and the card draw, which is great for us. But he knows there's a dragon in hand. So he now may be thinking, oh, Dragon Druid. Or Jade Druid with dragons. I mean, I've played that before. It was really fun. But our game plan is clear. We're going to ramp all the way to Guardian Animals. And to have this start in a deck of this nature that plays single copies of cards, I think has been quite fortunate.
At last, a worthy disciple.
So Kazakus gets played. I wonder if his choice of Kazakus Potion is going to be influenced by the Breath of Dreams that he saw. If he's thinking big dragons in the opponent's deck, will he take a Kazakus Potion that has the polymorph effect on a single target, or will he take a 10 cost Kazakus Potion that can polymorph an entire board? I'd be curious as to what his thought process would have been there, given what he'd seen earlier. Anyway, Guardian Animals here, beautiful. So, happy to keep the stealth in play. No reason to reveal the Twilight Runner just yet.
Surrender your will to the Cabal.
Okay, Raza on 5 is really, really scary. And you see that and you always think to yourself, okay, I've lost the game now. Because if he has Raza on 5, he'll have Anduin on 8. And then he'll just burst you down. This is not a wild deck, so we do not have Ferocious Howl, we don't have Branching Paths, and we do not have Malfurion, the hero. So armor gain severely limited here. I believe we are limited to the hero power. So if he does have, you know, Anduin when he needs it, and all of the cheap spells to combo with the Anduin hero power, we're just going to die. And so we need to pressure him. And try and kill him as quickly as possible. Hence, I'm looking at Survival of the Fittest. Okay, this is the dragon variant of Reno Priest. Interesting. Now, Kel'Thas has just arrived, and I'm just thinking, okay, let's go off with Kel'Thas.
Power. My people are addicted to it.
But as always with a deck like this, there are so many options, so many choices available to you in terms of how to proceed. You know, we have the Mount Seller. We could have gone off with a Mount Seller there. We had Dragon Queen Alexstrasza. We had the Kel'Thas option into Survival of the Fittest. And I think this is the strongest option by far. But the point still stands. There are always choices to make in a Highlander deck of this nature. Particularly when your hand is full. But this is wild mode, and he's not at the Shadow Reaper Anduin turn yet. And Kel'Thas lives! This is pretty good. Oh, Kel'Thas dies. Not so good. Okay, he's healing up. That's annoying. So, round number 2 of Big Threats. Is it time for Dragon Queen Alexstrasza? I think it is.
A good explorer comes prepared.
Sure. Nefarian could give us something that finds lethal maybe at some point in this game. But for now there's a 12/12 to look out for.
Your wish is my suggestion.
Okay. Zephyrus. We've seen Kazachas. We know there's a Kazachas potion available. And now he's going to find... Oh, wow. Big game hunter. Not seen that for ages. Yeah, he plays Reliquary Souls. This is an interesting version of Reno Priest.
I supply only the finest creatures.
Are we afraid of playing too far into the Kazachas potion? Whatever it is. I think we just need to go all in here as with the Mount Seller. Try and build a full board. Although, Germination gives us 2 Mount Sellers. That's insane, right?
Let's get 'em.
So, Shadow Reaper Anduin or Psychic Scream. That is what we're afraid of here. We don't care about that. That's nothing. He gets 1 dragon. Good for him.
Wrangle this. Wrangle this.
Draconoid Crusher. Finally. Operational. That's pretty sweet. And it costs 1 mana. Insane. Do we commit more to the board? Oh, Mark of the Lotus. Should I have, Should I have discovered this before Gateface? Have I now missed some kind of lethal? I don't think so. I don't think so. Still.
Hey now. If I must.
Okay. Deal with this board now. And if you deal with this board, I'll play Ysera Unleashed, or I'll play a couple of big dragons, other dragons from hand. Oh, Light Bomb. Doesn't clear the board. Well, that's just lethal. So we have managed to outpressure a dragon Reno Priest. Not a conventional Reno Priest that you tend to see on the ladder, but still a Reno Priest nonetheless. I'll take it.
You asked for it.
Here for a lesson.
Okay, so we're on standard mode now. We're on the correct mode. I woke up, pressed the correct buttons. I don't know if keeping Zephyrus was correct there, but seems sensible. Maybe I can play it on 2 and Wild Growth on 3. Let's just ramp into some of our more expensive plays.
Your wish is my
Sure, it's something to do here. Although, I mean, Animal Companion is just really tempting. Just because I find it fun to play. But Wild Growth
Crush your delusion.
is a sensible pick. So it's all about the pressure here for us. Ramp into pressure. He's going to gather his resources. But I'm just going to keep the minion presence up on the board. Nourish potentially next turn? Are we nourishing for cards or are we nourishing for mana? Not entirely sure.
Oh, it says explode.
If we nourish for mana and we ramp, then survival of the fittest we get closer to. Not entirely sure what to do. He's got all of these resources in hand. It's starting to get a little bit scary. Once those resources are gathered, they can have some pretty explosive turns. So now I'm thinking Mount Cellar plus a Wrath next turn. I mean, it's one spell. That's not great value. But it's still maintaining some level of pressure on the board. He may commit massively to try and kill the Mount Cellar. He may not be able to kill the Mount Cellar with the mana that he has available, the spells he has available in hand. So it could just be a worthy play next turn. Stealth is handy.
Delightful.
Okay. Nothing more committed to the board. He's saving all of those cards in hand.
We must stop this.
I think this is better than the Mount Cellar on this turn. We don't have a target for the Wrath. And I have no reason to attack face with that. I'm going to keep it stealthed for the time being. We have Survival of the Fittest next turn, so that is going to buff our stealth minion. I think waiting and then buffing is just much, much better. And if all three of these minions stick on the board, and if they're not frozen, if they can attack,
You fight me, you get burned.
it's not going to be looking good for him.
Turn it up.
Came close to killing our stealth minion. And that's not the worst Conjurer's Calling in the world.
Life and hope.
Do you know what? I'm not going to play the Survival of the Fittest. I'm going to be greedy here. I am going to wait until I've got more stats on the board. Then I'll play Survival of the Fittest. Maybe it'll find me lethal when I play. For the time being, we're just going to keep the board clear and make him really think long and hard about this 8/8 and this 4/7 that are incredibly threatening and hard to kill and hard to deal with.
What makes something real?
Ooh, Abomination. I just don't think that's going to be anywhere near enough. It's going to kill two of his minions when it dies. Oh, hello! Isn't this interesting? And they all hit the same minion.
Still half asleep? It's
How unfortunate for him. Anyway, do we have lethal yet? I think that's the question.
Don't leave me.
Oh,
Life at any
it actually does 2 damage to his own face too. Wow. Completely demolishing that mage. Alright, Paladin time.
I will fight with honor.
here for a lesson.
Can we assume that it's a pure Paladin or a Libram Paladin? Be an interesting test for this deck. Perhaps not the opening hand that you'd want to see. Rising Winds, I think, is decent. We have the flexibility of drawing a card or summoning a minion. I think that's pretty good. Germination, not what you want to see until much later in the game, perhaps. Although you shouldn't be afraid to use Germination on low value minion if it's going to keep your board presence active, I guess. First Day of School is a really, really good card. I play it in Pure Paladin. It's phenomenal. It really, really is. So, 3-2 contest 1-1. Summoning the minion rather than drawing the card seemed sensible. Can he deal with it?
One shot, one.
Yeah, that's why First Day of School is really, really good. One shot, one kill. Elven Archer. Fascinating.
I must.
Okay. Our hand is pretty hefty once we get to turn 5. That will be our first proactive minion play in terms of a strong minion that can also draw us cards. Okay. Still not feeling particularly scared from what he's playing. Is he going to give me time to develop here? I think he is. I'm happy with that. Ooh, depth charge. So he wants me to not develop anything. I'm okay with that. I'll just ramp. Draw a card. Sure. So he doesn't want me to develop anything big. He wants the initiative on this turn. Fine.
Reporting for duty.
But that
Delightful.
feels pretty weak. 2 1-1s. I don't care that they have Taunt.
Holy light.
I really don't have. I really don't care.
I must.
So, just taking this nice and slow, calm and collected. Sure. No problem with that whatsoever. Oh, wow. We get Mukla. That's very spicy. Another card in this deck that I think is quite underrated is Winged Guardian. Can't be targeted by your opponent in terms of spells or hero powers. Pretty good.
We must stop this corruption.
And by the way, we know that that secret is eye for an eye. So we are not going to be hitting face with King Mukla. I wonder if he knows that we've sussed out its eye for an eye. I mean, Deck Tracker is what's helping us there. Oh wow, Commencement. Oh. Well, that didn't do very much. Didn't do very much at all, really. That's not impactful.
Stop the rot!
So I'm curious about his deck. So I'm ordering the attacks in this way. Because I want to draw a card. And I want to pop eye for an eye. And take the least damage. Okay, sure. And why not? He plays Subdue, and so I would expect other board clears in his deck. Maybe we do not want to be having too much on the board at any one point in time. Alex Straza is available to us. Okay, it's less effective now as he's killed Mukla. Otherwise, we could have put him to 15 and gone face with everything. So Elise, you see, this is why I'm just not having any opportunities to play Elise. The other cards in the deck are fine as they are to do the job, and often there is not enough hand space to take advantage of Elise. I don't know. I honestly don't know what is the correct pick. I don't think it matters at this stage.
Stop the rot! I must.
We may as well just use that. What do we use it on? I'm actually gonna kill a minion just to make room on the board for more stuff next turn. That was the thought process behind that. Okay, as predicted, more board clears. Sure. The question is, does he have enough board clears to get through my entire range of threats? That is the question. Guardian animals, what do you do for me here?
Nature speaks.
If we're going to play it, we may as well combo it with Speaker Ghidra. So for an investment of 10 mana, we get the Thresher. And we get an 8/11 Wind Fury. Okay, fine. Fine. Absolutely fine. We've seen Subdue. We've seen the Librum of Justice. Is it Librum or Librum? I think it's Librum. Okay. Germination target seems pretty decent here.
Nature speaks to us. Listen.
Is that lethal? That is lethal. Wow, that is disgusting.
Listen.
Victory is yours.
Okay. Sure. Germination, good card.
Here for a lesson.
Okay, let's get one final highlight on the standard mode ladder. This is a rogue. Should I even have kept guardian animals? I have no idea. Probably should not have. I should probably have been searching for cheaper spells that can clear the board. So, whilst this deck can excel against slower decks, or even mid-range decks to some degree, slower mid-range decks maybe, if you're facing an all-out aggro deck, I think you really struggle. What do we have available to us to contest an aggro rogue in our hand at the moment?
Better be something.
I mean, Rising Winds does something on this turn. It will make him think about trading his 3/1 into the 3/2. To stop me hero powering down his minion the following turn, maybe. But do we really want to play the minion here, or do we need to draw a card to find answers? I think the minion here could stop 3 to the face. Maybe. And I think on that basis, it's worth playing. No, it did nothing. It did nothing. Oh dear. And I suspect that our face is going to be in a world of pain over the next few turns.
I must.
Unless we find Zephyrus and we get weapon destruction. I'm looking at this coin and I was thinking using it again for Rising Winds, but now I'm looking at the coin and I'm thinking coin into Guardian Animals on turn 6.
Blood and plunder.
Home in the shadows.
You know what would be really nice now? Swipe. Not survival of the fittest, not drawing into expensive cards, but drawing into cheap removal. So out of sheer desperation, I've used my coin, a coin that I would have liked to have used on turn 6 with Guardian Animals, but I think I just need to get something on the board that can try somehow to contest his minions, but Sam. Okay, answers. Answers all of the time. So that coin has just now been wasted because he sapped the minion. We really need swipe. We're not going to get swipe, no. This is the drawback of playing a Highlander deck. You're less likely to draw, you know, cards that you need at a given point in time, comparative to playing 2 copies of those cards in a non-Highlander deck.
Drink up me hearty.
Yeah, this is all but over now. I don't see a way to come back in this game. So I'm just going to draw and look for something. Oh, okay. There's the swipe. But it's not enough.
Seed may grow.
It's just nowhere near enough. Okay. So, Highlander Druid, courtesy of KingCarnage. Beautiful deck. Greedy, but so very beautiful. And against slower opponents, you can seriously outvalue them and really pressure them and annoy them. Against hyper-aggressive decks, I think, unless you draw your swipes early on, your Wrath, your Bogbeam, even Zephyrus, which could help, Nature Studies, or unless you get a crazy couple of turns of ramp with Lightning Bloom into then a very early Guardian Animals, I think you just succumb to hyper-aggressive decks. If you get to, I don't know, the middle point of the game, maybe Starfall comes in handy, perhaps. But I think that aggro is a real struggle. But that doesn't stop me from recommending this deck if you have the cards. It's very expensive, it's 14,820 dust. So if you don't have the cards, please don't craft it and think that this is a tier 1 meta deck. It's not. It's more fun than anything else, but as you saw in this video, it can win games. In fact, it can go as far as beating Arena Priest on wild mode. That's how powerful this deck can be with constant waves of threats. So thank you very much for joining me, everyone. I hope you enjoyed the video. We'll be back to wild mode, I think, for our next video. But until then, take care of yourselves, stay safe, look after yourselves and look after one another, stay positive, and I will see you all again very soon, as always, for more Hearthstone fun.